He very frankly said, I was a total failure in politics. And he qualified that statement by saying that it was too harsh a game for him to get involved.
Vanakkam, Namaskaram, and welcome to episode 2 of SI Cinema, where we get real on real. So for today, I'm going to be a panelist because Alvin Tagashi is not joining us for this episode. However, I still feel much confidence because Cinena seated next to me is, I would say, undoubtedly the most educated and knowledgeable person when it comes to South Indian cinema, most especially Tamil cinema.
I'm trying to get there. Not quite there yet.
Okay, I'm not going to get into that debate. We shall leave that debate for episode 3 once I've garnered all of my research. Episode 1, we discussed politics in especially South Indian cinema. And I think a major point which we brought up is as much as it's a huge influence on cinema, can it be done with? You know, can we put an end to it? And Devan Nair said, yes, that is possible.
Yes, but when you say an end, it's like the end of a movie.
All right, T's and C's. All right, okay, let's go.
There's always a possibility of a sequel.
Yes, yeah.
So whilst we say, look, yes, we can bring this to an end, I think especially the issue of politics, in any field, including cinema, it's going to be very, very difficult to escape the influence completely.
Okay, of course, yeah, because it's happened before. I think in every era of a superstar, there has been some political influence or resurgence happening. So, but it will be good to have an era where one of the superstars does not get into politics. So far, it hasn't happened. I don't think it has happened.
It's strange because for many, many decades, journalists have been speaking about it, and the lay person has been speaking about why Indian cinema and Indian politics are so closely related. Because if you compare that to the Western world,
to Hollywood,
you're not going to see that to a large degree. Yes, some of them do get in, but it is the small minority.
I think the biggest will be Arnold Schwarzenegger, from what I know. Made Maya. I can't think of anyone else that actually made it bigger.
Ronald Reagan.
Okay, Ronald Reagan. Okay, was he? He was in cinema, all right.
Yes, he made some movies. Not very good movies, but yes, he did. And I think it's the bug of fame and popularity that gets to an actor and says, wait a minute, now I've got all these people listening to me and following me.
Okay.
Can I not use that either to my advantage, or can I not use that to improve my country? I have a feeling it starts off with the latter and eventually goes to the former.
Yeah.
But we do have genuine people who are there to serve the people to some extent. But of course, once you get into politics, it's extremely difficult to keep that politics out of cinema.
I think we haven't actually answered the question as to whether there was a star that actually went into politics that actually did good for the people. I mean, when I say good for the people, actually uplifted their lives and kept to their roots.
Despite his many flaws, M.G. Ramachandran definitely ticks the boxes.
Okay.
Because he transformed the life of the rural individual in Tamil Nadu. So, for example, he had water in every village. So when people were walking kilometers upon kilometers just to get basic drinking water or water even to wash their clothes, he ensured that there was at least a communal tap in every village.
Okay.
So that was one major step forward. The second major step forward was, of course, he didn't introduce the midday meals for school children, but he brought it back.
Okay.
And of course, he spread it widely because he said, some people were saying, why should I send my child to school when he can be better put to use working on the family farm?
Yeah.
But these were people that were living just above the poverty line. And MJR correctly saw that if you provide a hot meal for a child, it's going to give the child and the family incentive to send the child to school.
True.
So that was the second thing that he did. The third thing that I think that really played a major role is that he was trying to reduce the class and caste differences.
Okay, yeah.
And certainly one of the remarkable things, and maybe not many people of the new generation know this, MGR made so many movies and earned a lot from all those movies. But when he was producing Ulagam Sutrum Valivan, he had to borrow money to produce the movie.
Interesting. Yeah.
And the reason for that is he used his money to uplift the people.
Okay.
So certainly M.G. Ramachandran
Does.
had some flaws because he was a politician. And I think the viewers would know that there are many images being portrayed by different people on the way MGR was.
Yeah.
And some portray him as the villain, some portray him as a god.
Yeah.
My humble opinion is that he straddled both. That there were times when, to give you some examples, he would be traveling on the road from one location to another. And if he saw someone walking on the road, he would stop to help, even though he was a star.
Yeah, okay.
At one point, he saw someone struggling to walk without shoes, and he took his own slippers and gave it to the person. So, yes, there was a lot of good in him, but I think, like every human being, he had his flaws.
As I would say, a young man in South Africa, having seen the dawn of an independent South Africa, having lived partially in the apartheid South Africa, I would rather have a politician that sticks to their promises to the people and doesn't so much have a clean personal life, but who has a clean, or someone who has a clean personal life but makes promises and they are empty and doesn't actually. As you mentioned, it's going to be, I would say, a bit of a miracle if we have someone that are clean all around. But the main duty of a politician is to take care of the people, and if that's being done, I don't see any further issue. I don't know so much about Vijay Kant's history in politics, but I know he was quite celebrated as well.
Yes, I know some people thought that it was a term that was going to elevate him. I would be quite offended by the term. He was known by many people as Kaalan Pillay.
Oh, I feel like captain. Okay.
And of course, it came from love, but I thought it was a greatly disrespectful term. And again, yes, he did have some flaws. He was quick-tempered, but he was very forgiving. And it's just a pity that politics was controlled the way it was at the time, that he could not make much headway. But if you look at the anecdotal evidence of the number of people he has helped, about how he selflessly served the people. Yes, he had the makings of a true leader, but of course, a combination of the stranglehold of politics that was being kept by the current two parties and the ill health that he had to deal with later on prevented him from getting further into the political career. But before we step off the topic of politics, just to reiterate, Shivaji Ganesan also got into politics. In fact, he was in politics even before MGR formed his own party. So they were in the same party together.
All right, okay.
And he also got into active politics. And quite late in his career, in an interview, they asked him, well, you got into politics, and what happened? Why did you leave? And he very frankly said, I was a total failure in politics. An absolute failure. And he qualified that statement by saying that it was too harsh a game for him to get involved. Because in politics, you've got to be hard, you've got to be ruthless, without which you're simply not going to survive. And the kind of person the great Shivaji Ganesan was, it simply did not match his personality.